Hi, I'm Teja Gerken with Peghead Nation, and I'm here with a Lowden S-35C 12 fret. I chose to play a ballad to introduce this guitar because I'm just really knocked out by the sustain of this guitar. That's the first thing that I noticed playing this guitar. And playing a ballad like this really brings it out. There's more sustain in this guitar than I've experienced in most flat top guitars. And really, just as soon as I took it out of the case, I was just so impressed by that. So that's the first impression that I had from this little 12 fret Lowden. But let's talk about it in a little bit more detail. Lowden has been making S-size guitars for many years, but it wasn't until last year that they started making a 12 fret version of this guitar. Most of the older S bodies have a 14 fret guitar, and that option is still available. That's the standard S-size guitar. By using the 12 fret neck on these guitars, it moves the bridge a little bit further into the lower bout of the guitar and just creates a different tonality. And I think these 12 fret S models are just really spectacular sounding. A little bit more bass response. They seem to increase the sustain. I just find them a little bit more complex sounding. And this one in particular is just a really beautiful sounding guitar. Lowden 35 series guitars are available in various different wood combinations. This particular one has Indian rosewood back and sides and a spruce top. And of course, as Lowden usually does, it's very organic all the way around. All the appointments are wood. The binding on the guitar is wood. It does have an abalone rosette. And another thing that's very typical of Lowden guitars is the combination of a rosewood bridge with an ebony fingerboard. No inlay in the face of the fingerboard, which is another thing that that Lowden has done for a long time. So it's got a little bit of the classical guitar vibe that way. It has the 5-piece neck that Lowden's well known for, and it's got a ebony peghead overlay, and there's also an ebony back layer on the peghead, and it's got Gotoh 510 tuners. I mentioned there's no inlay in the face of the fingerboard. Of course, there are dots on the side, so you can still know where you are on the fingerboard. And the bridge, it has the typical 2-piece saddle where the bottom 4 strings go over one long saddle and the 2 plain treble strings go over a separate saddle, which allows the second string in particular to be compensated a little bit more radically than you could with a standard saddle, unless the saddle got very wide. So Lowden feels that this improves intonation of their guitars. And of course, it has the pinless bridge where the strings are fed through the back rather than having pins to hold them in place. Beautiful design, both visually, and it's also very functional. And if you do muting with your right hand on the strings, also there's no pins to get in the way. So really a very thought out, clever design. Now, all recent S-style guitars have Lowden's short scale. Very early S-styles had the standard long scale, but for the last several years, S-style guitars, regardless of whether they're 14 fret or 12 fret, use the short scale, which is 630 millimeters, which is about 24.8 inches. So quite a short scale, which also makes the guitar incredibly easy to play. Between the kind of compactness that the 12 fret neck joint brings to the instrument and the short scale and the low string tension, even some of these longer stretches like I was doing earlier, very easy, much easier than they would be on a full scale length guitar. And it also brings out a sweetness in the tone, I think, that really becomes part of the overall picture. Now, I've played a bunch of kind of softer material on this guitar, and again, the sustain just really knocks me out, but it's also the response of this guitar all over the neck, really. Let me show you how it sounds if I'm playing it a little bit harder, but still fingerstyle. So whether you're playing softly like I was earlier or dig in a little bit more, really a beautiful, very dynamic sound, very well balanced, and just an amazing response, particularly for playing fingerstyle. Now this guitar doesn't have a pickguard. Many Lowdens have a clear pickguard on them, and it could certainly be fitted on this. So I believe that they really had a fingerstyle player in mind with this guitar, and it certainly is well suited to that. Now the Cutaway is worth noting because a lot of people feel like, well, a 12-fret guitar might sound really great, but I just can't get up the fingerboard enough. The Cutaway really kind of brings it back to where it would be if you had a 14-fret neck without a cutaway, even a little bit further. In this case, it goes up to about the 15th fret. So getting up in the higher registers really is not an issue with this, and it's certainly a feature that you don't see on too many 12-fret guitars, but it's beautifully done, and I think it also visually works very well on the Lowden body. So that's the Lowden S-35C 12-fret. This particular guitar came to us from Griffin String Instruments in Palo Alto, California. We thank them for providing us with this instrument, and they're definitely worth checking out. It's a beautiful guitar. They're available in different wood combinations, and definitely seek one out. I don't think you'll be disappointed checking one of these out. Please come back here to Peghead Nation for more of our gear demos. My name is Teja Gerken.